You will feel fatigue. You will feel fear. You will feel happiness. You will feel regret. You will feel sadness. At the end of the day, you will continue to breathe fire. Good to go. Okay, with that said, you will take the operational instinct, and here's what I tell you to do, and it's almost one of those impossible tasks, but you gotta fight for it every day. You gotta use that operational instinct, and you gotta know what happens before it happens. You gotta stay methodical on the field. You gotta stay clear-headed on the field. You gotta work any resource as required to move like this, move methodical, and ensure you always have mutual support in position to affect the fight and bring fires as required to fucking kill the enemy. Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Gonna go! We are going to have...
What up, world? Welcome to Infantry-Mindset, where we don't make excuses, we just do it. Man, I hope everyone's having a great day today. Beautiful day here in the great state of Texas. Second stream of the week. Second video of the week. Man, I watched my video yesterday and I thought it was a little bit flat. And, I got some feedback that was like, maybe less personality, maybe, the public, they don't care who you are. And, for me, my ego gets in the way. I'm like, dude, no, these people love me, man. Infantry guy. But, the reality is probably you guys want to get back to the material, right? What'd you click on today? So I'm going to try to be a little bit shorter. Still going to babble a little bit. The Babbler. It's my nickname, y'all. If you don't know, the channel is Infantry Mindset. What is it? Infantry Mindset is a thought process. We all have it. I learned it very early on in the military. It's a thought that you can do whatever you want and you will not stop at anything until you complete the mission. That mission is life. That mission is obstacles you have to overcome. That mission is anything that is a roadblock in your way to success. Who am I? Infantry guy. Transitioned a couple years ago. Decided I wanted to make a channel to just start getting my opinions out there, reacting to stuff, right? From an infantry thought process, which is like, how does the average infantryman think? Now, I'm not speaking for all of us, but I will tell you, very close to the military still. My wife's still active duty. I've spent a lot of time in the military, was in the infantry for a long time, became an officer, finished my career as an infantry officer. And most of us have very similar views and opinions, which I think is cool. I also think healthy conversation is important as well. I say that because some of the feedback I was getting, some of my comments, and by the way, I want comments. Man, please tell me how to get better. Tell me if you disagree. We need more healthy communication. We need more healthy conversation. Guys, the problem is we don't talk enough. We all have our own views and opinions. We're kind of in our little bubbles. We communicate with the people that are like-minded like us, and nothing gets solved. The idea and my thought process was, I can tell you how I think. I can tell you how most of us felt in the military. I can tell you some of the conversations that we've had behind the scenes. But ultimately, I'm open for anyone to enlighten me. I don't intend to be the smartest guy. I'm actually the opposite of smart. I had one of my a viewer left a comment and said, man, you say infantry too much. Bro, it's the name of the channel. It's all I know, right? I put my face out there because I'm not scared of who I am. Also, everything I say, I do put a lot of integrity into. I don't make up things. I do give you my personal beliefs. But, you probably clicked on it to figure out who this guy is. So nobody's special. But I will tell you, I gotta stop saying, I will tell you, man, I'm very passionate about our country. I love our country so much. I was willing to die for our country. I think it's the greatest country in the world. I want my children to be very successful in life. I want them to grow up in the country that I love so much. And, because of that, I have my own views on how I feel like we should be focusing on our future, things that we should be doing, right? At heart, I am conservative, less spending, less government, more freedoms, all the rights that, I fought for, that I believe that we should have, but I'm not so dead-minded where I'm not willing to listen to everyone speak and, actually think about things from everyone's perspective. I had another comment that said that I had to be Trump AI. You have no idea how much of a compliment that is. To have old dumb infantry guy to tell me that I could be AI for a former president of the United States, man, thank you. That's such a compliment. I don't know if you meant it as a compliment, but man, I took it that way. So what are we getting into today? Man, we're going to talk about Vice President Kamala Harris being up in the polls. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes. And I think every hour is different, right? A lot of media attention, a lot of positive things people are saying about her. I wanted to take a look at one of these articles CNN posted, just kind of showing her numbers and how she's getting the world's attention. She's getting the youth's attention. And that, she's going to be a formidable competitor and candidate against former President Donald Trump. Let's take a look. Let's have a little bit of a conversation after. If you find any value in this, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for following me on this journey. Let's get into it.
How are voters feeling now that Kamala Harris is topping the Democratic ticket? New polling just dropped, and guess who's coming to visit? Yep, CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton joining us now. As you ran the numbers, what are you seeing? What are people feeling?
Steve mentioned this. Harris she was the VP, but now she's at the top of the ticket, and I think opinions of her.
So immediately, let's see, net favorable ratings. ABC, IPSOS, favorable, unfavorable. Will the other polls follow? Okay. So it looks like there's an initial poll here. I'm going to let them talk, but I just want to initial reactions. Guys, what's your initial reaction when you see this? We see Harris post RNC was minus 11 points. Trump was minus 11 points. Now we see +1 and minus 16. Man, are the tides changing? What do we think about this? All right, let's get into it.
Are moving rather fast. So this is the net favorability ratings. This is from an ABC News Ipsos poll that literally dropped just within the last 24 hours. I'm going to be interested if other polls follow. So this is net favorability. It's favorable minus unfavorable. Look at this. A week ago, She was at minus 11 points. Look at this. She's jumped all the way up to +1 point. Trump has actually dropped a little bit from minus 11 to minus 16, but that movement isn't so wide compared to this 12-point movement. And I think the real question is, will this stick in other polling? Because Democrats absolutely love this, and it gets back to Steve's point that opinions on Harris, I think, are much more malleable than they were for Joe Biden, where you just had that consistently negative rating. Here, this is the first time I've seen a politician running for national office with a net positive rating. I don't know since when. I mean, it's something unforeseen, at least over the last 4 years.
And that is quite a spread there.
Yes, that is.
That sounds like a shot at President Biden. He said the last 4 years. Guys, tell me, is this important? This net positive, favorable ratings? I'm not familiar with it. If you all are familiar with it, please comment. Let me know how you feel about it. This is interesting. Let's get into it.
White Democrats love this.
I'm sure they do. All right. Voter enthusiasm among Democrats. Speaking of Democrats, what did that look like and how did that change?
Yeah, opinions are one thing when it comes to the individual candidates, but enthusiasm. We know that Democrats were suffering from low enthusiasm, so enthusiastic about voting. So this is Democrats for Biden or Harris. Look at this. Back in February, just 62% of Democrats said they were enthusiastic about voting for Joe Biden. Look at this now. Woof. Up to 88%.
That's a big jump. Do we think that the reason for that is because Democrats as a whole, they just felt like President Biden wasn't worth voting for? That's a huge swing if you think about it. Very interesting to kind of look at this and see how CNN is breaking this down.
now say that they are enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris. That is a huge jump. That is a 26-point jump. Look at Trump during the same stretch. Republicans for Trump. It was 80% in February. Look, it's still fairly high at 82%. But compared to February, where Trump had this 18-point advantage, now we see Harris with a 6-point advantage.
That's also interesting. So this was before the attempted assassination. So I guess what they're showing is this poll, they believe that for Republicans, 80% favorability in February, and now post attempted assassination, famous fight, USA, all the chants, seeing him take a bullet. He's only gone up 2%, they're saying, by Republicans. It seems low. How do you all feel about this? Am I missing something on this? Do you think the context is wrong? Is this somehow being spent, or is this actual information, which is very interesting? All right, let's get into it.
It's definitely for Democrats. Game on. They are very enthusiastic. We see it in the money being raised. We see it in the volunteer signs. And now we're seeing in the polling as well.
Yeah, and they're hoping that translates to in the line to vote or voting.
That's what they're hoping for. We'll wait and see.
What about the all-important battleground states? Because that's what everyone's looking at, that this is going to be, according to you and many others, a very tight race.
Yeah, so, this is all national polling, but ultimately it comes down to the Electoral College, and this is Harris versus Trump. These are the northern battleground states. This is all polling conducted since Kamala Harris became the presumptive Democratic nominee, or the very likely Democratic nominee. Look at this. In the Great Lake battleground states, pure toss-ups, +1 in Wisconsin, well within any margin of error. Michigan tied, Pennsylvania tied. We thought these were going to be tight. At this point, they look like they're going to be tight. Perhaps a little bit more interesting with these GOP reaches, where Donald Trump was competitive with Joe Biden. But look now, Minnesota, +6 Harris. Look at New Hampshire, +7 Harris. Maine, +9 Harris. The GOP reaches where they thought they could play against Joe Biden, at this particular point, it doesn't look like they can play against Kamala Harris. It looks like this election is going to be decided here in the northern battlegrounds. And then, of course, those Sun Belt battlegrounds where we don't have new polling yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. But it looks like it's going to be much more like the traditional map than it's going to be one of these wide-ranging maps where we're going to have states that put into play that we're not used to. These, at this point, at least, these particular states look like the GOP reaches will continue to be GOP reaches.
This is interesting, since the governor of Minnesota is also a potential vice presidential pick, but it looks like she's doing quite well there. So
she's doing quite well. It's going to be interesting. Maybe the Democratic vice president might come out of here. Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro. Maybe you get one little extra point, turns those ties into maybe +1 for the
I think Gretchen is out, so it may be Josh.
We'll see. Everyone is out until they're back in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
How do we feel about that, y'all? I thought it was interesting for sure. Just in general, the dynamics, I believe, have changed. I think that President Biden, I think it was safe to say that his favorability, his chances of staying our president for the next 4 years were probably a lot smaller than just in general Democrats would like to admit. I think Harris has changed things a little bit. How do you all feel about that? I am not at all saying that Vice President Harris isn't fit to run our country. I'm asking a question, right? I say that because there are plenty of typical, extremely conservative, extremely radical YouTubers, people out there that will give you your input. I'm an infantry guy that looks at things from a simplistic level. And, all I want is what's best for our country. There's no secret that I believe what's best for our country right now is for former President Donald Trump to be our next president for the next 4 years, because I think that he has a pretty solid plan on how to make America great again. With that being said, I don't want people to view me as being some radical person that is not able to just listen to information that's being given. I'm simply asking for the information. Also, I would like the conversation. I think that for me, it's important for us to conversate. I've said that, a dozen times already on this video. I'm not the smartest. That's why I keep repeating myself. but I'm very interested in knowing how is this going, because we know that Vice President Kamala Harris is going to get a lot of media attention. We know that it's exciting, right? Have you ever heard of something called buyer's remorse? You know, it's very exciting. Then after a while, it wears off, and you kind of think about, okay, well, you know, what are the politics behind the person I chose? You know, what are they going to do to push the country forward? These are the questions I have now. Maybe we start to get some answers as we get closer to election, and she says something that's very enlightening that, you know, somehow can change my opinion. I don't know. I'm very old school in my approach, but I'm willing to listen. You know, that's all I ask. And for those that don't agree with me, you know, I just ask that you be willing to listen. And if you can teach me something, guess what? I'm willing to learn. If you found any value in this episode, you know, I would love for you to support. You know, I don't take money from anyone, never take a handout, but, you know, continue to listen to me. Maybe I'll grow on you. Again, just an average civilian now, trying to make it. Very excited. My wife and family are moving down here, so I'll get to be with them on a daily basis. Man, I can't wait. But until then, I'm really excited about making these videos with you guys and even incorporating live streams. Once the family moves down and I can convert back over to our house, start doing live streams, I would love to get some real insight on your views and be able to talk to you guys live as opposed to through the comments. I'm very old fashioned. I don't think I could ever do the online dating thing. You know, I got to see you in person. I got to talk to you in person. I got to feel what you're saying, your energy. That's what I like. So I think live streams I'll be really good at. What I would like from you all is to let me know, if I did do live streams, what day would be a good day to do live streams? You know, should I do it during the day? Should I do it at night? When would you all be willing to pop on and give an old bald guy a shot and just kind of vibe out with me for a little while? Whether it be debating the politics, whether it be talking military stuff. You know, I'm old school, man. I'll talk to you about military all day long. Give you my views and opinions on everything. Leave a comment. Let me know a good day, good time. Maybe I'll make it like a weekly thing where I'll get on once a week and just do live streams. Introduce you to my kids. I'm just a regular guy. You know, I hope you I hope you found some value out of this. Another episode of Infantry Mindset, where we don't make excuses, we just do it. God bless. Hope you all have a good day.